The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday morning to you all. We already got Bistrilla in the chat. We got Augustine in the chat hanging out today, hoping that everyone's having themselves a great time so far today, a much better time than the LA Lakers who just got swept. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Remember, we're live on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on X, and on the Under the Hood Podcast Network. Check them out, Under the Hood, all the good stuff that they're doing up in the city of Chicago with my dude Jonathan Hood and them boys. Augustine saying, and I'm in a meeting during this. I mean, what better way to spend your workday, the early part of your workday, than hanging out with us, than hanging out here talking a bunch of nonsense about stuff that doesn't necessarily matter at the end of the day. I've got, for the first time in, I guess, 3 weeks or so, maybe 4, a day off. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself. I've got no clue, like what to do today. There's going to be so many activities. I can just go out and get like hammered ass drunk day drinking today. It's Tuesday. I got to look at like what all the drink specials and all that stuff are. Chances are I'm probably just going to do yard work at my house because I'm an old man, geriatric even. And I do need to rearrange my office. So maybe that's what's going to happen today. All the fun, exciting stuff that we're going to be doing today. Strilla saying, do it. The world is my oyster, Strilla. I was going to go in, but the meeting that I was going to go in for got canceled. So now I'm like, I got one more meeting to do at 10:30 today in 2.5 hours. I can just do that virtually. It's going to be a fun time. Augustine saying, here's my take on the Lakers. The mystique that the Lakers had in the 80s and 90s is gone. The last dominant Lakers teams ended with Kobe. I think you could say that the mystique with the Lakers and all that lasted at least until Kobe retired, right? So we'll say up to 2015-ish, right? Because even then, like with Kobe, you kind of knew, or you didn't kind of know, you felt like they had a shot. This whole time outside of the 2020 bubble season with LeBron James and the LA Lakers hasn't really felt like they've been an actual contender. Strill saying, F the Lakers. F them in their effing A's. But yeah, like this, and it goes back to something that I had mentioned a little bit earlier. I guess it was last week whenever I was talking with Brandon the Iceman Cohen on Fire and Ice on Saturday. No Fire and Ice this Saturday. Brandon is out of town going to his brother's wedding. Congratulations to Brandon's brother in Milwaukee getting married. Our friend, former Chicago Bull, guest of the show, friend of Tip, Bill Winnington, is going to be at Brandon the Iceman Cohen's wedding. Or Brandon the Iceman Cohen's brother's wedding. Man, that was a bit to get to. Augustin saying, but some of the teammates that Kobe had did not have the mystique. The Celtics front office tries to keep that Celtics way. I would argue with that, man. Like whenever you look at the some of the people that the Lakers had, right? Like with Powell. Like that Lakers team with it when it was Kobe and it was Powell, like it was just like that was a team that had a lot of mystique. That was a team that had a lot of aura, right? Like you knew that was going to be a championship contending team. Maybe towards the end of Kobe's career, where it was a bunch of nobodies like Lonzo Ball and stuff like that, you kind of felt like, oh, okay, they've lost the plot a little bit. But the fact of the matter still stands that the Lakers, up until very recently, were a team that you can look at and say, maybe they're going to be a contending type team. The Lakers with a superstar player, you can always say was going to be a contending type team. You never truly felt that way outside of the 2020 bubble season. And remember, had it not been for COVID, had it not been for, the league taking, 4 months off, the Lakers wouldn't have even made the playoffs. They were that bad at that point in time. They had to get into the bubble. They had to get their get right. They would have been bounced. And not only were they not doing good at that point in time, LeBron James had suffered a calf injury. He was going to miss extended periods of time. COVID happens, bails out the Lakers. The Lakers win their championship in the bubble. You got to put the asterisk next to it, as I know a ton of people will do. But to me, it's like the whole time that LeBron has been there, it hasn't been where you've thought to yourself, the Lakers are going to be one of the best teams in the NBA. The Lakers finishing with the 4th seed in the West felt like they overachieved. And then you saw the way they just got bounced by Oklahoma City. Like, it wasn't even fun to watch. Like, I watched part of the game. I watched like the first half and was like, I didn't enjoy it because you knew that the Lakers weren't going to really put up much of a fight. Like, yes, they only lost by 5 this time, but it just felt like the Lakers didn't have the guns that they needed to go up against a team. And we're not used to the Lakers being a team that we talk about constantly being outmanned. Augustine in the comment section saying, a friend of Tip, that sounds awful, but your mouth is watering. When Jeremy Lin is a star on your team, I mean, that was the Knicks, right? Like, that was more the Knicks. Like, the Lakers got a washed version of Jeremy Lin. There are 2 teams that need to always matter in the NBA. It's the Celtics and the Lakers. You say that, and I guess I tend to agree basketball is better to me whenever you have 3 teams that are relevant. That's Boston, New York, and LA Lakers. But there was a long time of irrelevancy for the Boston Celtics. Like, let's not forget that those, 90s Celtics teams into the mid-2000s were bad. Flatly, just bad. And then the Celtics were bad after, 2010? Until very recently, too. So there have been prolonged streaks of the Celtics not being a good team in the NBA. Granted, maybe there were some windows there where the Lakers weren't great, right? The 90s, you could say the Lakers weren't great, but, that's whenever you get Kobe, that's whenever you get Shaq, and you get into the 2000 season, dominated the 2000s, right? They won 4 championships in the 2000s. Nothing in the 2010s, but you still had Kobe there leading the way as like the main guy. There has been much more irrelevancy out of Boston than there has in LA in much recent times. And maybe we're on that downside for the LA Lakers. And I think that's the Lakers are proving to us that you cannot have a owner who only owns one thing, right? The Buss family only owns the LA Lakers. They only make their money off the LA Lakers. They made some money off of, leasing out the Staples Center or whatever the hell it's called, crypto.com now, I guess is what it is. But their home arena, they made some money by leasing that out to the Clippers. The Clippers built the Intuit Dome now, and they don't have to worry about doing any of the stuff and paying the Lakers. So the Lakers lost that bit of revenue stream. Every other ownership in all of sports has some sort of ownership in something else that gives them more money to be able to deal with some stuff. The LA Lakers ownership was just them. Thus the reason why they had to sell. Now you have new ownership that just wants to make money off of the brand of the LA Lakers, which is going to be a money-making machine, but it's just not one of those teams that you look at right now that can financially be stable. And a lot of it is because of the bad decisions they made to get LeBron James, to placate to LeBron James. He's been there for 7 years, got you 1 title. Awesome. You got a title. But at what cost? You traded away a ton of assets. You traded away a ton of draft picks. Let's not forget, the Lakers don't have a traditional first-round draft pick until 2029. They basically went from 2020 to 2029 without a first-round draft pick that they didn't have to trade in to get. Think about how wild that is, how hard that hurts your team to go basically a decade without having your own first-round draft pick. That's where you've seen these issues with the Lakers. Like, yeah, sure, the Austin Reeves thing is fine. You got Luka, but how long is Luka going to be there, and how much can you trust Luka whenever he is there? You have a 9,000-year-old LeBron James. What are you expecting this team to be? They're just not good. Augustine, going back to the comment section, Augustine saying Ric Flair calls you out your superstar. That is true. That's one. It's like, but old dudes are always going to call out old, like, other dudes, right? Like, oh, I would have played. Back in my day, I'd have done this for $45 million. Well, sorry, but you don't play now, right? Like, it's a different league now. Augustine saying, on the Lakers, it was about 5-6 years in the 90s where they were bad. Bird and co. retiring, and then Lewis's death. This is talking about the Celtics, right when he was going to be the face of the franchise. And it goes on to say, excuse me, the Celtics. Yeah. And then Beastrill saying, social media, while negative in most regards, has made these low market cities relevant. That's the thing, right? Like, you can still be a global superstar in San Antonio, right? Which, again, a lot of people don't realize this. San Antonio is a top 10 largest city in the United States, but media market-wise is cannibalized by Dallas, Austin, and Houston being within a general 3-hour vicinity, right? So maybe we don't say San Antonio. Maybe we look at teams like Charlotte, but then again, Charlotte hasn't had the success, right? New Orleans hasn't had the success. Memphis hasn't had the success. Denver, I guess you can say, has had some success, but how much of that is you just got lucky drafting Jokic in the second round? Milwaukee, you can say, yeah, there was some success there. Not to the peak of where you want it to be, but there was some success there. Cleveland, whenever LeBron was there, was extremely relevant, kind of relevant now. Tying up the series with the Pistons yesterday, that was a great game by Donovan Mitchell. Holy shit. But I mean, I do see what you're saying, Strilla, that yes, you can have social media and you can still be a huge superstar, but a lot of these markets, like you can benefit, right? Like Luka being in Dallas juxtaposed to LA, it's not like Dallas is that much smaller than LA as far as media markets go, right? Well, LA's 2 and Dallas is 5. So it's not like it's a huge issue or a huge separation. Augustine saying that more teams are going to be added to the mix. The talent pool is dwindled. I don't know if you could say that. I feel like that had to have been a conversation that happened back in like the 70s and 80s as well. Whenever we were getting, new teams in the NBA, it's like, oh my God, how dare we? The talent level will always rise, right? Like, especially now, it is going to be interesting to see what happens with like the supplemental drafts and NBA expansion drafts and things like that. Whenever we get the team in Seattle, whenever we get the team in Vegas, I'm super interested in looking at that. Tommy chiming in saying, Luka and the Lakers get bounced, swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I've got to see just how bad it was. So 18, 23, and 5. Going to the calculator to do some quick math here because I don't want to ruin my brain this early in the morning. 18, 23, 5 divided by 4. They lost by an average of 16 points per game. 16 points per game in the second round of the playoffs did the LA Lakers. If you're going to be bad, be historically bad, I guess. Now I got to look it up. What the largest average margin of victory in the playoffs is? Okay, I mean, hey, it's up there. In a single series, the Knicks hold the highest margin of victory. That happened this year against the Philadelphia 76ers at 22.25 points per game. They outscored the 76ers by 22.5 points per game. I guess 22.25 points per game. Going over to Stat Muse. Ooh, look at that. Okay, I'm not going to be able to look that up just right now, but I'll have to figure it out because it will be interesting to me to see that if indeed it is what I think it is, which I believe it's a top 5 largest margins of victory in a NBA playoff series. It would be the second time in LeBron James's career that his team has been bounced from the playoffs with a top 5 largest margin of victory. One happened in the 2014 NBA Finals against the San Antonio Spurs, that San Antonio Spurs team that was on that vengeance tour, dominating the Miami Heat, the Heatles in that series. And then this year, losing by an average of 16 points a game is very hard to do. Very hard to do. But the LA Lakers found a way to get it done. And I'm proud of them for doing that. Good job, LA Lakers, for being absolute dog water. Absolute dog water. The commission, yo, Money Mike, Augustine asking, was a new Seattle team going to be the Supersonics? Yes. We learned this a couple of weeks ago with our friend Bo from Seattle. Football Talk with Bo. Follow it on social media if you haven't just yet, especially on YouTube. Football Talk with Bo. covering everything in Seattle. They will be the Seattle Supersonics because the city of Seattle got to keep the name. I'm not too sure how I feel about running it back as the Supersonics. I feel like there's a lot of legacy there that you've got to try to overcome, but they got to keep the team name. They got to keep the history. So the team that comes into Seattle will automatically have a NBA championship and will have been in 2 previous NBA championships as well. I guess 3 total, because you had the back-to-back ones in the 70s where you won one and then lost one to the Washington Bullets at the time. And then in 1996, where you got bounced by Chicago Bulls and them boys. It's absolutely dominating the way that it should be. Exactly. Now they have Sean Kemp as their back as one of their team all-time leaders. Who is the Supersonics all-time scorer? And go to this. They have it as okay. There we go. That fixed it. Yeah, and of course Gary Payton. Man, if we're gonna start naming like 1990 Seattle Supersonics, I am here for it because I got Hershey Hawkins, I got Detlef Schrempf, I got Sam Perkins, I've got Nate McMillan. Come on now, let's get going. If we want to go old school with it, we'll go what? Lenny Wilkins? Was Lenny Wilkins on the Supersonics in the 70s? Okay, so all time, Gary Payton is the Supersonics all-time scorer at 18,200 points. Then Fred Brown, whoever the hell Fred Brown is, because he doesn't have a picture, he had to have played in the 70s because they don't have any stats for him for steals or blocks. Jack Sikma, I know Jack Sikma. Again, another guy that had to have played a long time ago because they don't have any assist numbers for him. Rashard Lewis, number 4 all-time at 10,000. Sean Kemp, number 5 all-time at 10,000. Oh, Dale Ellis. I forgot about Dale Ellis. I know they got Ray Allen on there. I don't mention Ray Allen. Don't look at him as a lifelong Supersonic. I guess none of these guys really were. Derek McKee. Dennis Johnson. I forgot Dennis Johnson was there. Hersey Hawkins. Number 25 all-time scorer for the Seattle Supersonics. That just makes me happy. I don't know why. That just makes me happy. Have you seen Sean Kemp's dunks, though? LOL. Yeah, Sean Kemp's dunks were awesome. Brent Barry. Yes, I know Brent Barry. I think of Brent Barry more as a San Antonio Spur. Although I guess he was with the Supersonics whenever he won the dunk contest and the three-point contest. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was Brent Barry, right? Yeah, it wasn't John Barry. It was Brent Barry. Too many Barrys at that point in time. That's wild. It has to still be just Brent Barry that's won the dunk contest and the three-point contest, right? Okay, that's just absolutely a lie. Because it says no one won it. Tom Chambers, yes. Tom Chambers. If we want to hear some cool names from before, Tom Chambers. People don't realize this. Tom Chambers was an absolute problem in the 80s. If Tom Chambers played today, he's already, I believe he's a Hall of Famer, right? But he would be just undeniable how damn good he was. If you watch old highlights from the 80s and you see the way that Tom Chambers was dominating dudes, it is awesome. I'm going to say Barry won the dunk contest in 1996. Yeah, he had a dunk from the free throw line, but I could have swore he also won the three-point contest. And what I'm looking at right now shows me that never happened. Okay, he did not win. He competed in it, but he did not win. He finished in second place. Did I just have like a Mandela effect? Is that what happened to me? Augustine saying is you were dreaming. Maybe it's just the beautiful, luscious hair that Brent Berry had flowing all over the place. Yeah, don't worry, his jumpsuit. That's right. He did that dunk from the free throw line in a jumpsuit. Again, a wild choice. Just wild choice with the clothing options we had back in the 80s and 90s. I saw like pictures of dudes. Like if you look at LeBron James's draft night, right? Or I think the best one is Carmelo Anthony's suit. Carmelo Anthony's draft suit has to be one of the most amazing things we've ever seen. And that's how you can tell, like, it's from a specific time. From a specific time. Where are you? There you are. Is that it? Look at that. That absolutely beautiful suit right there from Carmelo Anthony. Look at those baggy-ass legs. Look how long that jacket is. Man. Going back to the early 2000s, whenever everything had to be extremely baggy to fit on you. Cedric Ceballos, I did love me some Cedric Ceballos back in the day. I feel like now what you're doing is you're naming Phoenix Suns, though, right? We went Tom Chambers. We went Cedric Ceballos. Those are both Phoenix Suns. Why not just Dan Marley? We'll throw Dan Marley out there. Kevin Johnson, former mayor of Sacramento, Kevin Johnson. I do love that. I love that that's it. Rex Chapman. If Rex Chapman wouldn't have been a damn druggie, he could have been one of the best to ever do it. Also, I feel so old saying damn druggie. Old man Tip over here. Old man Tipper. It's very similar to Old Man River, but it's just about the tip. Blake Griffin dunking over Ikea in the 2011 All-Star game. See, I have a love-hate with that because, yeah, it was a cool dunk. But he jumped over the hood of the car, right? If I'm not mistaken, Mac McClung went over the top of the car. Mac McClung, like his dunk contests that he had, were great. That's all old boy could do was just dunk. Like you became an NBA player just to compete in the dunk contest. Strill saying that's facts. The cricket commission reminded me of those damn reefer addicts. I think Rex Chapman was much more than just reefer, right? Like Rex Chapman was a bunch of other stuff, wasn't it? At least that's what I remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just some dude. Maybe I'm super judgmental, and I shouldn't be. Maybe I should stop being such a jerk, but I can't be. It's hard for me to not be a jerk. It's just in my nature. I'm not going to look up what was Rex Chapman addicted to. I should. I feel like it would be fun to watch, but I'm not going to look that up at this exact moment. Sorry, y'all. Got some text messages from my work crew asking about stuff. It's my day off. I shouldn't have to worry about work. There we go. We'll reply to that. Augustine saying, you? Judgmental? No, not ever. You, Augustine, look at you. At least I know I can rely on you to make sure that you keep my head in the game, keep me exactly where I need to be. And Strilla, you are 100% right. Maybe it was that Rex Chapman was addicted to just the tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
the tip?
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Guys, summer's right around the corner. It's getting hot. It's getting muggy. I know you don't want to feel uncomfortable, and quite frankly, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. I want you to feel the best that you possibly can, and the only way that you can do that is by going over to www.myhappynuts.com. Get that comfort cream, slather it all over your hands, rub it on your boys. I know you're going to like the way that feels. Rub it on your boys and make sure you're good to go. Maybe you're gross and you don't wash your hands after things, and you're worried about, I don't want my hands to smell like Happy Nuts comfort cream, which smells absolutely amazing, by the way. But I can understand if you don't want your hands to feel and smell like you just rubbed them all over your nuts. First off, take a shower, you gross ass. Secondly, they have the comfort powder. Pull back them 4X undies, pull them out here as far as you can, sprinkle it in just a little bit, and now you've got comfort all day long. www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout. Save on all your male grooming needs. I introduced myhappynuts.com to somebody yesterday, and I can only hope and pray that they make their nuts as happy as my nuts. Augustine saying they can't push a button. It wasn't them. It was some of my employees. And with my employees, I make sure I answer their questions as much as I possibly can. The commission saying if your nuts aren't happy, they're happy. MyHappyNuts.com should contract Anthony Edwards. LOL. No, he needs to be contracted out by like a vasectomy company. If we know anybody that's just handing out vasectomies, Anthony Edwards is your guy. Go find him. Who knows? At the right price, maybe I'll get one. What a weird show we do here. All right, so the LA Lakers get bounced. The Cleveland Cavaliers tie up the series with the Detroit Pistons. I saw a stat that I thought was just absolutely hilarious, and I don't think it's going to be a way that you win games. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 6-0 at home, but they're 0-5 on the road. Right now, you're not the guy, or you're not the team with the home court advantage. So you have to find a way to win a game on the road. And the Detroit Pistons just haven't been able to do, or not the Detroit Pistons, the Cleveland Cavaliers just haven't been able to do that. So if I'm the Pistons, I don't even worry about losing the next game in Cleveland. Just win at home. You've got 2 more games at home. All you got to do is win 2 games. Let them win game 6. Let them think they're going to do something game 6. Make it to game 7, and boom, you've got it going on right there. And then it's going to come the issue of that we always get whenever you get into playoff series that go long versus the one that doesn't go long, the rest versus rust. Because you have the New York Knicks, who just deposed of the Philadelphia 76ers, just got rid of them unceremoniously. Again, making me wonder what the hell people are watching sometimes, because you get all those conversations on ESPN like, are the Knicks built to beat the 76ers? They're built to beat the Celtics, but maybe the 76ers can give them a problem. The Knicks set a record beating the 76ers by an average of 22.25 points per game. Yes, they were built well enough to beat the 76ers. Shirley, how you feeling about your team? Because I feel like that right there should be something to kind of lift your spirits, right? Knowing that Cleveland does not win playoff games on the road. You got 2 more playoff games at home if you're the Detroit Pistons. So you should feel good about yourself. And then going on to say, plus, the Knicks have to go to Detroit. That's 100% correct. Detroit, the number 1 seed in the East. So New York is going to be on the road. Should Detroit win this series, which I'm fully expecting them to be able to win this series. Cleveland again. It's a good story. I feel like they're missing something. Maybe LeBron goes back. Maybe that's what they got to do. We did hear yesterday after the game was over, LeBron does not know what he's going to do with his future. You're 42 years old. You've got nothing to prove. You will never catch that ghost named Michael Jordan. I don't see a reason why LeBron James should continue playing basketball, but I know it's so hard for these competitive freaks to just let go of. It's all he's known the majority of his life is just playing basketball. And I don't think LeBron has the personality to be like a commentator. I don't think LeBron has the personality to be like on the table on the dais for like pregame shows and stuff like that. But then again, I guess no one would have thought that about Shaq. But you know Shaq has personality. The Knicks also got blasted by the Pistons in all 3 games they played this year in the regular season. Kind of like what OKC did to the Lakers in the regular season. The commissioner, LeBron, said he wants to play games with his grandkids. I think LeBron just wants to like all he's doing right now is just padding the stats, right? That's what it feels like. You've already got the all-time score. You're going to be, top 5 all-time assists. I believe he's top 10 all-time rebounds. Grandpa LeBron out there chucking up bricks. All right. LeBron James does lead in all scoring categories. He's got 5,000 more points than Kareem, which I remember as a kid, just felt like an insurmountable lead. Like I didn't think anyone would ever catch up to Kareem, and LeBron did so. Oh, that's playoffs. I don't want playoffs. I want career. Give me career. There we go. Let's see where he is. All-time assists for the career. Number 4, LeBron James. All-time rebounds for the career. Wow. I don't know. I thought he would rank higher on here. But you did have some rebounding giants back then. LeBron James, number 23 all-time rebounds. You look at the amount of games LeBron James has played and compare that to like Bob Pettit, who's well ahead of LeBron James in the all-time rebounds list here. LeBron James has damn near tripled the amount of games that Bob Pettit played, that Wes Unseld played. And that's where we got to give a lot of love to like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. Bill Russell played less than 1,000 games and is second all-time in the most rebounds with 21,620. LeBron James has played 1,622 games and is a full 10,000 rebounds behind Bill Russell. And Bill Russell's in second place. The same thing with Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain played 1,045 games. Again, 600 less games than LeBron James. And has 11,000 more rebounds. That is insane. That is insane. Oh, God. Rage bait question by Augustine. Is it a choke job if the Spurs lose to Minnesota? And how bad does the look on Wemby for the elbow and whatever comes after that? So going back to the elbow yesterday, I was wondering if there was going to be some more suspension, something like that for Wemby following the elbow. The NBA has said there will be no fine. There will be no suspension. Wemby will play in Game 5. you can't call it a choke job when the team that's younger and shouldn't necessarily be here loses the series. It would be a choke job for the Timberwolves in my mind, right? Like, again, you made it to the Western Conference Final. The next step is to make it to the NBA Final. If you lose in the second round of the NBA playoffs and you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, you took a huge step back. If you lose in the second round of the playoffs and you're the San Antonio Spurs, you missed the playoffs the last 7 years. That's again, like, that's a win. And maybe I'm looking at it as a Spurs fan, but I don't see how you can say it's a choke job, because then that would mean that you have some level of expectation of this team winning a championship. And I have told you all, since the playoffs started, since this season started, I was worried about this team. I don't think they have the mentality just yet. If they lose in 7 to Minnesota, maybe that helps get them that mentality. You hate losing in the playoffs. You hate that taste in your mouth of losing in the playoffs. Maybe that helps get the Spurs there. I think the worst thing for San Antonio would be winning the championship and thinking that every championship comes this easy just because you have an alien on your team, right? So I don't think you can call it a choke job. The only, like out of all the teams that are left in the playoffs, Detroit, Cleveland, New York, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, and San Antonio, only one of those teams has no pressure on them, right? You look at all those other teams, and they all made the playoffs last year. They all made a pretty deep run in the playoffs last year. They all have been, constant playoff appearing teams outside of San Antonio. Maybe you can say your level of expectation, maybe it'll be a choke job to you personally, but real hoopers wouldn't call that a choke job. And again, it's not me defending the Spurs. It's me saying, out of all the teams that are left, Detroit, the way that they got bounced last year, they came in this year with something to prove. The Knicks, 55 years, 54 years since winning a championship with the Knicks? We expect the Knicks to be better. They should be at this level. Oklahoma City, you get all the calls. You get all of everything going your way. You're the defending champ. You don't at least make it back to the NBA Finals? That's a huge step back. The Spurs are playing with house money, man. Strill saying LeBron is the GOAT of this century so far. But look at the average over his career compared to the greats. Then goes on to say San Antonio will get back on track and says, well, the Pistons, I don't know how I feel about the Pistons. I don't know, man. Like, I don't see how you can call it a choke job by San Antonio. For all intents and purposes, no one thought that they would be this good this year. No one thought that they'd be the second. Like, I even said it too. I thought they'd be a playoff contending team. I thought they'd be like a 7th seed or an 8th seed. I didn't think they'd be a 2 seed. Not this year, not this fast, because of how young they are. They are ahead of schedule as far as I'm concerned right now. And whenever you have a team that's ahead of schedule, I don't like in any sport, we would never call that a choke job. We'd call that the learning process, right? Now, let's say they lose in this series this year, and then they get swept in round 1 next year. Yeah, that's a choke job. That's 100% a choke job. You got to at least make it back to where you were for me to say it wasn't a choke job. If you've exceeded expectations, there's no way that you can say it's a choke job. Strilla, I don't know if you could say that, man. Like you said, nobody thought that about the Pistons either, though. The Pistons made the playoffs last year. I even told you I thought the Pistons were one of the more talented teams in the playoffs last year. That's a super talented team. And you can see that they needed to take that next step forward. Maybe they've already done it, right? But there's again a level of expectation on this team. You win the 1 seed in your conference. There has to be a level of expectation on you. But I do get where you're coming from. Maybe last year, and that's what I'm saying. Like the bar is always going to move, right? Augustine says expectations adjust with the season. I agree that expectations adjust with the season, but I believe that they don't adjust mid-season, right? Like if you have a team that goes on, all kinds of runs, like you can't see a team go like a 10 game winning streak in the regular season and then be like, oh yeah, now that team's going to make the playoffs. Maybe they should win a championship because they won 10 straight games. You can't do that. I think the bar has to move at the end of the season. Whenever we finally have, okay, this is where this team was. This is where we expect that team to go next year, depending on the fact that one, they're young, two, they've got this. If you're like the Golden State Warriors, the level of expectation has to start going down because the players are so much older, right? With the Spurs, you can say, you can look at that team and you can see the flaws, right? They are very, very young and they are not very deep. Again, if you look at just individual star players, right? Wembanyama is easily number one. Then from 2 to 6 is all Minnesota Timberwolves players. Because you can put Anthony Edwards as a number 2. Julius Randle at a number 3. Naz Reid at number 4. Rudy Gobert at number 5. McDaniel at number 6. Then you start coming up with the question of, okay, maybe at number 6 is Castle better than McDaniel? But just knowing that you can hands down say, number 1 on the court is Wembanyama. And then from 2 down are all Minnesota Timberwolves players, again, shows you the gap into between what the two teams have. And it's not because the Spurs don't have talent. It's because they're so young, you don't know where they are just yet. You know that you can rely on Julius Randle to get you a bucket when it's time. You know that you can rely on Naz Reid, who's showing out as one of the best players in the NBA. You know Rudy Gobert can step up defensively. You know that Anthony Edwards can take over a game anytime that he wants. Outside of Wembanyama, is there a player on the Spurs that you have that much confidence in? And as a guy that watched almost every game this season, I can tell you there's not one. Without Wembanyama on the court in late game situations, they are a completely different team. And we saw that happen in game 4. Wemby is the cheat code, right? Like Wemby makes everybody on that side of the court better and then makes the other team second guess a lot of shots. There's no way that you can tell me that the Minnesota Timberwolves would have penetrated the paint as much as they did in the late fourth quarter if Wembanyama was there. And again, it's all ifs and stuff like that, but you can still see some stuff. Strail saying not winning the conference, however, yeah. When the Spurs beat OKC in the regular season and have a great record and have been playing good basketball plus have Wemby, come on. But again, okay, so was it a choke job for Jordan not winning a championship from 1984 to 1991? Are we going to say those were choke jobs? No, because we're going to say he ran into the Celtics. He ran into the Pistons, right? Like you can look at Oklahoma City right now and you know that's a generational team. Beating the Oklahoma City Thunder 4 out of 5 games in the regular season is not the same as beating them 4 games out of 7 in a playoff series where it's just you and them, where there's no looking forward to any of that other stuff. Augustine saying it's a team sport. Exactly. Shrill saying sounds like you're talking about Detroit in the same breath. Yeah. But again, like if you look at Detroit and you compare it to Cleveland, right? Like let me just bring up the rosters here real quick. Where are we? There you are. You know that Detroit has, to me, who I think is the best player on the court in Cade Cunningham. Then number 2, you can look at Cleveland and say Donovan Mitchell is number 2. Evan Mobley might be the third best player on the court, right? But I think that you can start, comparing things a little bit here. Maybe Jalen Duren, whenever Jalen Duren is right. That would be your guy. So you only go like 2, like there's 2 positions on Cleveland that you can say are better than Detroit, right? Cade Cunningham, to me, the best player on the court. Maybe you can say Donovan Mitchell. Maybe you flip them around. It doesn't necessarily matter. Those 2 are the best players on the court. Evan Mobley, without a shadow of a doubt, the third best player on the court. At 4 becomes a question mark. And I can make a case that it could be Jalen Duren. Hell, with the run he's been on, it's probably Tobias Harris. And then you can put Jalen Duren at 5. So now 3 out of the top 5 players on the court are Detroit Pistons. You cannot make that argument with the San Antonio Spurs at all. And that's probably going to be the case if San Antonio moves on and faces the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? It will be Wemby is number 1, maybe 1A. You got to switch him with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Those are the 2 best players on the court, hands down. You can move them around however you want to move them, but those are the 2 best players on the court, hands down. Chet, Stephon Castle, you're putting Chet above Stephon Castle. Jalen Green. Why do I feel like I got that name wrong? Jalen Williams? Yeah, it's Jalen Williams, right? Jalen Williams. Stephon Castle, you're probably going to give it to Jalen Williams. And then becomes Stephon Castle at 5. So again, 3 of the top 5 on the floor are Oklahoma City Thunder players. Not as big of a gap as I think there is with Minnesota. I think a lot of people don't realize that the Minnesota Timberwolves are a really good team. Tommy's saying, God, I can't wait till the NFL is back. LOL. Am I losing you, Tommy? Man, you could just put something in the comments. You know how this show goes. Get me back on track. You want me to talk about the Cowboys hosting the Philadelphia Eagles on Thanksgiving? I can talk about that. But you've been quiet, man. You want me to get on football? Let's talk some football. Tommy, give me something to talk about. I'll be like Cody Rhodes. So, Tommy, what do you want to talk about? I know it's football, but I can't read your mind. Augustine's saying, did I start to make the tip uncomfortable? Not really. Again, you're making it seem as though I haven't been saying all season and all playoffs long that I didn't trust that San Antonio could win a championship. I have hope that they can win a championship. I've said that this whole time. I look at this team and I have hope that they can win a championship. But deep down in my heart, I know they've got to get their lumps. I've watched enough basketball through my time to know they've got to get their ass kicked in order to take that next step. Whether it's against Minnesota, whether it's against Oklahoma City, whether it's against whoever comes out in the East, I fully expect the San Antonio Spurs to not win a championship this year. If they win the championship, I want a championship with house money. This is a completely new scenario for me as a Spurs fan, because whenever they got Tim Duncan, you had such a veteran-laden team at the point in time that you expected them to win. You knew that they were going to win. You didn't know when they were going to win, but you knew at some point in time they were going to win. They kept that core together. They were a core of veterans again with some young talent on that team when they won in 03, when they won in 05. They were a veteran team when they won in 07. They were an even more veteran team whenever they won in 14. The version of the Spurs that we're looking at right now is completely different, a complete 180 of all the championship Spurs teams in the past. A super young team with one veteran that has any type of playoff experience. You have to get that playoff experience to take the next step, and I feel like it has to happen this year. I cannot see a scenario where my San Antonio Spurs win a championship outside the sun shining on a dog's ass every now and then. Lions at Bills in Buffalo's first game at the new Highmark Stadium, Thursday night football. That will be week 2. Week 2, baby. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see what that stadium looks like. I also don't know why they needed a new stadium. Like their stadium felt fine. Dallas wins 10 or less games. LOL is what Augustine is asking. I have to look at what the whole schedule is, man. I have to look at what the whole schedule is. Tommy's saying, I understand when the Mavs were in the Western Conference Finals, all I wanted to do was talk basketball. LOL. And I didn't have a show at the time. Tommy, I'm so sorry. I didn't give you that outlet. I bring the show back and the Mavs trade Luka. I feel like it's my fault now. Maybe I'm the problem. It's me. Hi, Nico. Say hi to Nico for me. I know he's not there anymore. I will say this, dude. The guy that the Mavs brought in, Asai Majiri, like as their new GM, is going to be good. Give it some time, give it some patience, because they did make some pretty dumb trades previously. He'll build you guys a championship contender because it's exactly what he did in Toronto. Like even during that run, where like Toronto was a constant playoff team, you felt like they had a chance, whether it was DeRozan and all them. Cyril saying, okay, Morgan Wallen. I didn't drop an N-bomb, did I? Augustine saying Cooper Flagg is going to be a monster. Yeah, until he gets traded. As soon as the Spurs are out, I could care less who wins, says Tommy. As anybody but the Spurs, right? ABS. Anyone but Spurs is what I feel like Tommy is going with right now. That hurts, man. And I thought we were friends. I thought, you know what? It's okay. I understand. We have our mutual connection with the Dallas Cowboys. Outside of that, I feel like we're juxtaposed to everything. You like Oklahoma, though, right? My mom's from Oklahoma, so we got that bridge. That's the bridge that brings us together is football. Augustine asked the question about the Dallas Cowboys. How many wins? Like I said, I've got to check out the schedule, man. Once the schedule drops, once we have the whole schedule, then we can come up with it. We got to see where things are placed. Then I think we'll be all right. All right, everybody. I want to thank you all so much for tuning into today's show. We will be back tomorrow. Look at that, a Wednesday show. No baseball this week. Well, some baseball, but that's at the end of the week. Savannah Bananas, Banana Ball. You can check that out on YouTube. We've got to set up an entire stadium in the next couple of days to get ready for the Savannah Bananas. Tommy saying, yes, you did. We were talking basketball when the Mavs were in the finals. Were we? Wow. I must have. It's been such a long, wild ride. Augustine saying juxtaposed. Really? I say that. I feel like I say that a lot. Like I was even thinking that whenever I dropped it a little bit earlier today. Like I've got to come up with more synonyms. I feel like I say it a lot. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just a jerk. Like I said, we will be back tomorrow. Wednesday show. Live on Tipton Sports Broadcasting Network. Live on Under the Hood. Having ourselves a good old time. Augustine, I thought about it. The Dallas Cowboys are going to go 17-0. We'll see you all tomorrow.